Hello, everyone. I'm Maritza of the Simple Heart, and welcome to this Mercury in Taurus tarot reading. This reading is for the collective, and just as a friendly reminder, please do not use these readings to replace any kind of professional advice. And please take or leave whatever resonates or doesn't resonate with you from this reading. And also, what you do with your life is your responsibility. So there's that. So for Mercury in Taurus, the general vibe is, and I say general vibe because I am not an astrologer. I'm sort of new to the astrology part of tarot, but I do still heavily use tarot when I do astrology because it's the way that, like, I know tarot, but and I'm comfortable with tarot, so having that avenue to astrology makes me feel more comfortable with it, with astrology. So I just want to say I'm not an astrologist. I don't know, I don't know what a midheaven or a trine or a whatever, I don't know, is. And I don't know how to get those things, but I do know how to interpret the planet and the sign, generally speaking. So, Mercury in Taurus. Mercury is the planet of communication, the way that you communicate, think, and process information. And Taurus is a very practical, grounded, stubborn, and even possibly lazy, if they are fully in their shadow side Taurus. And that is the influence that Taurus will have on Mercury. So we'll have more grounded thinking. Our communication will be more deliberate, more intentional, and choosing our words carefully. We may be more focused on practical matters, and that being said, our concentration and focus may be more enhanced during this time. And another thing I want to point out is that there might be a heightened sensory awareness because Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus, which is a very sense sign. Like it's a sensual sign in the sense that it uses all of our senses to be present in the moment. There's also the potential for stubbornness because Taurus is, from what I've learned, is a very stubborn sign. And I know more than one Taurus who has said that they're very lazy when it comes to, who wants to do stuff that they don't want to do? So they interpret that as being lazy. But whatever. So that might be more prevalent during this Mercury in Taurus for some of us. Okay, so the reading. So this reading is for the collective. You don't have to have your Mercury in Taurus and Mercury. This is why I'm not much of an astrologer, but Mercury in Taurus, you don't have to have it in your natal chart to listen to this reading or to enjoy this reading. Actually, I hope you are able to enjoy all of my readings and not allowing who it's for stop you from listening to it. Yeah, so what messages do you have for Mercury in Taurus? For the collective. All right, we have the Three of Cups. We have the Temperance card. Oh, all right. So right away I'm thinking there's a need to kind of, what's the word? Well, there's a need to mitigate the kinds of social interactions that we know aren't necessarily good for us. Like I'm thinking where there's heavy social drinking, I guess, or just heavy drinking. But that's just like very on the surface for the cards. So let's continue with the reading. There's a Six of Swords. We have the Seven of Swords. In the distant past. In the crown, what's crowning the situation is the King of Cups. And in the near future, we have the Queen of Swords. So what I'm thinking with this first part of the reading is there's a sense of trying to get away from a particular dynamic, be it a relationship or some kind of situation where it brings out the worst in you. Where I see the King of Cups and the Queen of Swords, and I'm thinking that there's this feeling like when you're around this particular dynamic, you want to I'm not sure how excuse me, I'm not sure how I want to describe this, but it's like they or the situation brings out the worst in you, right? And you don't feel like you're presenting the side of yourself that you believe yourself to be. And instead, what's happening is that you're becoming more, you let your emotions run amok and kind of make the decisions for you when you're in this very particular dynamic. But your hope is that you want to appear kind of emotionless and stoic, and more logical rather than like impatient and kind of going by the seat of your pants. I'm also looking at the Temperance card, and I'm thinking that to try and present the side of yourself that you want to be, or you feel that you are, or you believe yourself to be, you kind of have to introduce more patience, and more active listening. You don't want to this is the kind of dynamic situation, whatever it may be. It's the kind of thing where you know when it gets involved, it's going to bring out the worst in you. Or maybe you're becoming more and more aware of this. And so you have to kind of bring more patience into the situation, more self-restraint, and also be able to listen to other perspectives if other people are involved in the situation, or try different approaches. And remain open to the results or consequences, rather than try to control what you want the consequences to manifest as. And I think that's part of Taurus, like the shadow side of Taurus is that they desire control, in some sense. So that's the reason why they're stubborn and sometimes lazy, because if they feel like they don't have control, they kind of just stop doing anything, and until they either get their way or they just decide that if it's not this, then it's nothing, and so they become lazy. Generally speaking. And then we have the Nine of Cups. Okay. We have another 9. We have the Hermit. So the 9 of Cups is outside influence. The Hermit is in inner influence. We have the Hierophant, which is Taurus, for hopes and fears, and we have the Devil card as the outcome. Okay. So, actually, a lot of readings that I've been doing recently have had the Hierophant and the Devil card appear. So that's very interesting. It's something that's pulling through all of the signs this month. But I just want to say, with the 9 of Cups in the reading, like it might as well be the 9 of Pentacles, as I keep wanting to say, but like what I'm thinking with the 9 of Cups, it's like a warning of be careful what you wish for, because you actually just might get it, and it's never ever, it never turns out to be what you expect it to be. So but that's just a quick aside. I'm actually going to interpret the reading as a whole. So I'm noticing the figure in the 9 of Cups, and he has his arms crossed, and he's sitting. So I get the sense that he's like immovable, and that's like the stubbornness of Taurus kind of showing through or peeking through. Like he's immovable in his jolliness. Oh, okay. So here's what I'm thinking. So very, still very on the surface, superficial kind of interpretation is, I'm thinking like you want to get away from this sort of toxic environment where, I mean, it may not even have to do with like social drinking or whatever, but like it is certainly toxic in the sense that it brings out the worst in you. And I'm seeing the 9 of Cups, and I'm thinking like, you're gonna throw a party your way and not rely on others to throw a party that you want, because it's never what you want. It's always a party where, well, not necessarily a party, but like it's always a situation where it's not to your liking. So so you're kind of deciding like, if I'm gonna go party, it's gonna be my way. But anyway, that's very superficial. And not really how I want to interpret this reading, but I just thought it was funny. It kind of makes me think of that episode in Friends where Monica tells Phoebe to be in charge of cups. And so Phoebe brings like a whole ton of cups and all kinds of different ice, like crushed ice, dry ice. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, anyway, and now I'm kind of stuck in that mode. I'm stuck in that interpretation of this reading, but okay. No, but yeah, there is a sense like if things aren't gonna go your way, you might as well do the thing yourself, whatever it may be, because you know how you want things. And so people are gonna feel the stubbornness, I feel like in this Mercury and Taurus. They're gonna feel it for sure. For inner influences, so the main thing I'm getting from the Hermit card is particularness. And I'm getting that from really the astrological sense that the Hermit card is Virgo, and Virgo is very particular about how they have things or do things or make things appear to others. And I feel like whatever is happening, it's all about appearances right now. What people see and what that makes them think or believe about you or what's happening is very important for some reason. Maybe because you feel like what people think they are seeing from you is appearances are everything during Mercury and Taurus. I feel like what you take in with your eyes is super important. And again, I'm thinking about how Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is a very sense-oriented planet. Or I should say really influence. It's a sense-oriented influence. And in this case, I'm thinking about the sense of sight, or equivalent of, like, your stronger sense will be more prevalent, let's say. And I'm thinking, like, I'm thinking sight because I'm seeing the lantern, the hermit's lantern, and you use a lantern to see in the darkness. But really, I think it's more about, like, whichever sense you feel is strongest for you is the way that you will is the way that whatever this dynamic is will manifest for you. So, like, If you feel like your sense of taste is stronger, food will be more important, and maybe even like, maybe you'll like to cook for your friends or your social people. And like what they have to say about the food you make is very important to you at this time. So that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't, but moving on. So now we have the Hierophant for in the hopes and fears position. And the Hierophant is Taurus. So it's good that I've been like thinking about how strong Taurus is in this reading, even without the Hierophant. But now seeing the Hierophant, I'm thinking like it's a very strong energy. Oh, okay, so the reason that appearances are of utmost importance during this time is because you want to appear as a leader in whatever it is that you're into. Or maybe not a leader, but perhaps some kind of expert. Or if you're not an expert, like officially, maybe like as close to an expert as a layperson could get, without going through any proper official channels. And so if the people around you think that you're some kind of expert already on the subject or the dynamic or the whatever, you're that much closer to feeling like you are an expert, because the people around you already think you are. Or at least you know more than they do about the particular subject. But with the Devil card, I'm thinking, don't let that get to your head. Like, don't let this become the thing that defines you, because, well, it's never good to make something become your whole personality. And also I'm seeing the Devil and the Hierophant and how similar they are in presentation. Like, there's two figures in the forefront in both cards. There's the Pope, essentially, in the Hierophant, and then there's, of course, the Devil in the Devil card. And they're sitting in very similar positions. They definitely have power. They both have some sort of rod in one hand, and they have another hand lifted up in very similar positions. So they're very, very similar. And in the Hierophant, we have the keys at the very bottom of the card. And then in the Devil card, the two figures in the forefront are chained. So the Hierophant will provide the key to unlock the chains from the Devil card if you don't allow this to become such an important thing that there's like nothing else to you. Like, I'm not sure if it's the right word, but hubris keeps coming to mind. And I think I might be using it wrong, but like, don't let the recognition that you receive when the people around you begin calling you an expert or whatever it is, like, don't let that get to your head, and don't let it define who you are, because it's really not who you are. You're not, it's not what you're made of. Like, you're not, oh, here's the thing. Okay, so you're trying to become this expert on something that you did not create. You're using another person's creation to your benefit. And even though everyone knows that you didn't create this thing, it's like you are wanting to present yourself as though you did. And I'm seeing the Three of Cups now in a different light, where it's you and all your friends, and you're all like celebrating the creation of something, and maybe it was a group thing, but you are coming out of it as though you were the sole creator of it, and you're not really giving credit to where it belongs. Ooh, and with the Seven of Swords, it's like this is bringing out the worst in you. This is the dynamic that's happening. Because you don't know how to handle your emotions when it comes to receiving recognition for it. But the people around you already see this as your thing. This is your expertness. So you're like basically the spokesperson. Or possibly the face of the thing. And you want to get away from it, but it's sort of too late. So now you have to continue to mitigate your emotions and kind of like continuously relay the information that no, you weren't the only one who created this thing. You have to begin to give credit where credit is due. In terms of astrology, we have Sagittarius with the Temperance card. We have water signs, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. We have air signs with the Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. We have Virgo with the Hermit, Taurus with the Hierophant, and Capricorn with the Devil. So we actually have all three earth signs present in this card. And Taurus is an earth sign. So that practicality is going to be quite strong with Mercury and Taurus in the way that we think and process information and communicate. Yeah, and I think that's the reading for Mercury and Taurus. Thank you so much for being here, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.